Are boosters pulling NIL funds and growing sour on the whole notion? That is a question it is time to ask. The 12th Man Foundation, Texas A&M's athletic fundraising arm, saw its annual revenue drop by more than $25 million from fiscal year 2023 to 2024, just as they had to pay Jimbo Fisher's buyout. An article by Daniel Libet at Yahoo Sports, citing a copy of A&M's latest tax return at Team Die Sportico. The 12th Man Foundation reported bringing in $95.7 million in fiscal year 2024, set off against $116 million in expenditures. It brought in $120 million in total for fiscal year 2023, a gigantic drop of $26 million. And the decrease in contributions and grants, it went from $113 million to $85 million. Now, Texas A&M's expenditures increased from $194 million to $243 million because Jimbo Fisher got the most insane buyout in history. However, is this a sign that teams are souring on NIL money? Texas A&M should have been at the top of the pack of NIL money. We always talk about Texas, but Texas A&M has that oil money, okay? Oil executives, more than anybody else. For those who don't know, most people in the billionaire class just worship their money, and they only do things that they could see getting them a return on investment because, again, they put money over morals. They put profits over everything. We talk about this with Nike as the booster for Oregon. They'll be an Oregon booster, but Phil Knight sees their value on that return to a certain degree. The only exception to this is oil executives, who most of the time don't get rich through business planning or anything like that. They get rich because they moved out west, took a risk, struck oil when they went to an oil field, and landed $1 billion. And then they don't know what to do with their money for the rest of their life, so they just throw it on the table to try to do something. That's exactly what Jerry Jones does, okay? More than any other type of billionaire, they do it they do a lot of vanity projects for fun. Here's the problem. If they're willing to dry up their funds, which they're doing with Texas A&M, they're spending less money, then all NIL collectives are about to have their funds dry up. Because if oil executives are reducing what they give, billionaire executives everywhere are reducing what they give. So bank on it, brought to you by Commercial Bank, member FDIC, life made better. NIL revenue is drying up, and it's going to create a problem for schools going forward. Bank on it.
Commercial Bank is your neighborhood bank. What makes us different from other banks? We understand that every customer has unique opportunities, challenges, and financial concerns. We don't expect you to fit into the same box as the next person or business. Whether it's purchasing a home, saving for your child's future, or planning for your next vacation, we're with you every step of the way to navigate life's big decisions.
The poll question up is NIL spending about to decrease? And you guys let me know what you think on it. I'm going to say yes, it's not a good investment. Or no, billionaires or boosters like to throw out money. Or boosters like to throw out cash. So that's the question. Is NIL spending about to decrease? Yes, it's not a good investment. No, boosters like to throw out cash. Actually, I mistyped that. Let me say this again. I typed it wrong. Okay. Is NIL spending about to decrease? And you can say yes, it's a bad it's a bad investment, or no, boosters like to throw out cash. All right, now that's how you vote on it, guys. Is NIL spending about to decrease? Yes, it's not a good investment. No, boosters like to throw out cash. Go ahead and vote on that on the poll question now. I'm going to tell you this right now. It's about to decrease. Now, Boosters are about, again, they like when NIL started, I think a couple of years ago with Nico Iamaleava getting the 2 million and the 8 million and Bryce Young getting $1 million before he ever played a game. I think, look, there's a combination of boosters of college football programs will throw around a little bit of money to try to see their team win on Saturday so they can brag about it on Monday amongst their work buddies. I firmly believe that that's been going on since the beginning of time. But again, when NIL and the walls first came down in 2021, there was such a rush. Boosters were very excited about it. They wanted to open up the checkbook. And I think the thinking was they could get these highly touted players like Nico Iamaleava to Tennessee, do endorsements with them, and those endorsements would pay off in other forms of advertising for them. It's bad business. Hasn't worked. And as Will West pointed out to us, I guess it was about 3 Fridays ago, NIL is not a moneymaker for anybody, guys. And I think these boosters thought that maybe not that they would make a profit off this, but that they would get a somewhat of a return on investment for dishing out money for these players. They haven't gotten it. Not only have they not gotten it from a financial standpoint, they've lost. If they spent $8 million on Nico, they're out $8 million. Okay, there wasn't any return from that at all. Any sort of endorsement deals or promotions or anything that they got out of an advantage from that. It's one thing to spend a few $100,000 to build a program and not get any return. A few million, though, and many NIL budgets are around 20 million, is a totally different story. On top of that, they're getting spurned. I just brought up Nico. He transferred. They opened up the checkbook. They opened up the checkbook for him, got no profit back from him, and then he transferred, and he didn't really deliver for them that much on what they wanted. They didn't see much value in him last year. Jimbo Fisher and Texas A&M, probably the boosters cobbled up all that money for that buyout. They're unhappy about that. Then they go 8-5. They're deciding we don't want to buy all these players at Texas A&M. And guys, those are oil executives at Texas A&M. They don't care if they lose their money. Like, they like to throw around the money. These boosters, I'm telling you, are very, very, very upset about the state of NIL. And they are deciding that it's not a good investment. And this is happening everywhere. And it's going to keep happening. And how will the players respond? The House settlement is coming. But I talked about this yesterday. The House settlement means $21 million roughly for a school to pay players directly per school. And they got to divvy that up among a bunch of different sports, primarily football. But they got to divvy it up among everybody. That'll be enough to keep the players afloat. But some players are making way more on the NIL market, and that money is going to collapse. And what's going to happen when the next 5-star quarterback in 2027, who read about Nico Iamaleava getting $8 million in 2022, that 5-star quarterback goes to a school and realizes he's not getting an offer anywhere better than $500,000 at any school? Because that's how this is about to work out, guys. And there is no way anybody could expect this to happen. One of the things that we realized is that, and this was a really big deal. One of the things that we brought up for a while is that, and this was a great analogy I read, the NIL market opening up in 2021 was the equivalent of the Berlin Wall falling. In 1989, the Berlin Wall fell, and then the Soviet Union just dissolved immediately in 1991. And then you had all these different countries form. Matter of fact, just a quick history lesson on this I want to bring up. A lot of people talk about the agreements that NATO made with the Soviet Union, that they wouldn't expand on the Soviet Union's borders, and that NATO violated those agreements by adding countries in the late 90s, early 2000s. That's certainly true. The other side of that, though, what NATO would argue is that that agreement was with the Soviet Union, not Russia. No one saw the Soviet Union falling as quickly as it did. We're in that stage with NIL. Things are happening so fast. Agreements are being made based on things that could change and dissolve within 2 years because we have no idea how this is going to work out. What we do know is people are not getting a return on their investment. If Texas A&M boosters are willing to tighten their pocketbooks a little bit on this, then you have to be honest, a lot of other schools will too. Now, Nathaniel Kim says something: millionaires care about return on investment. Billionaires care about what other billionaires think. Yeah, but Nathaniel, what do other billionaires think? They judge you based on who's got the most of the billions. So taking that into account, they still do think about return on investment to a certain degree. And GBMFO says the point I was going to make, and I'm going to talk about this later. GBMFO, great point. Coach wages should drop to their glorified PE teachers. You know what? I totally agree with you. And I'm telling you this right now. There is a Moneyball situation. The first school to do this will figure this out and will win. Convince the boosters to not cobble up money for a head coach. Hire some rando out of high school somewhere, to like some rando high school football coach in the middle of nowhere to coach your football team. And then you use all that extra money to go buy a national championship. I think coaching is one of the most overrated, overpaid jobs now. It made sense when you didn't have any players, when you didn't have to pay players, or you didn't pay players. Doesn't make any sense anymore. Use the money you would spend on coaches to buy more players. Ed Orgeron won a national championship. Les Miles won a national championship. If those two can win it, any coach in the country can win it if you get them the right talent. Okay. I'm sorry. That's what I would do. And no one's doing that yet, but that would be the move. That would be how you get a dynasty. And someone's going to moneyball this and figure this out. Someone will. We just don't know who yet. But in general, NIL money is drying up to a certain degree. That's what the Texas A&M 12th Man Foundation Fund tells me. And is NIL spending about to decrease? Yes, it's not a good investment. 70%. No, boosters like to throw out cash. 30%. I'm telling you, it's not a good investment. It's 70%. Portions, and those people are right.